Choosy moms choose Jif. My mom wasn't a choosy mom, and I always knew that. And I think that it was really hard for me to see my mom as a loving mom beyond the consumerism part because it was never like, oh, baby, I'm sorry. Mommy can't get that for you. It was like, what's wrong with you? And I think back to all those moments that my mom could have done things to try to reassure me or just be more positive in general, but that's not who she was. My mom had me young. She'd already had some kids, very unhappy life. Like, my mom was raised in pretty bad circumstances. And so, to that end, I'm like, whatever, mom, it is what it is. But I think that as more and more people in my generation, and I think the next as well, become estranged from their parents and their family, I think that we should start to talk about what happens to someone when their mom or their dad doesn't choose them. It's a weird concept. I have noticed that there are a lot of people out there who still to this day believe that if your own parents don't like you, you must be trash. Like, come on, your own mama can't love you. Like, what's wrong with you? And it's like, perhaps my mother was a douchebag. Have you ever considered that? So I think that it's really important for us to start to talk about this, to start to talk about the impact and effects on generations of people who were raised by the very people who we kind of have blamed for destroying the earth. Now, again, I'm the type of person that thinks that what we're talking about is like, some people call it a generational curse, right? I think that's a really good way to put, like, PTSD is like a generational curse. You really can pass that thing down, okay? And I don't know, there's something really special about being able to sit down and have an honest conversation with someone about the fact that your parents or your grandparents to their kids, like to your parents, somewhere along the line, someone never learned regulation. Someone never learned how to bring themselves into a state of peace, how to process things and do some critical thinking under duress, how to handle poverty, how to handle a world that has all these increasing expectations, but no one's really sitting down and talking about it because we're all supposed to pretend that we're perfect. And we're not allowed to talk about the fact that, everybody's got someone in their family that they're like, that person's crazy. But let's just be real. If the people who we threw in asylums back in the day were actually supported the way that we kind of do people now, there are so many people that they thought were freaking intellectually disabled, but it's like they just needed to have access to like a freaking chalkboard or a typewriter or a computer, and now you realize this person is a genius. I saw that in a meme the other day about this autistic guy who was like, yeah, they thought that I was intellectually disabled until they realized I just can't talk. Like, I cannot do that, but I have things to say. Okay, so all I'm saying is there is a lot to unpack that we are choosing not to unpack when it comes to the breakdown of families that isn't really, it's not one thing. Like, if I look at my family and why my mom was the way she was, well, can I just be real? My grandmother was the same way with her mother. Oh, and if I look at my dad's side of the family, look, can I just be real? I know some people who were fighting with their parents until they died, and then they never got to have the conversation about it. I Pretty much everybody in my family was married to at least their second partner, right? They've been married and divorced. Like, I never really saw a lot of positive relationships. I never knew people who, oh my gosh, I'm having some memories. I'm having some PTSD flashbacks, friends. So, woo, I'm gonna breathe. Oh my gosh. I have seen more people freak the out than I have seen people sit down and say, we can handle this, we can do this. In fact, I found that in my early teens and in adult years, that was me. I was the one. And guess what? After the crazy chaos was over, then I had a freaking panic attack. So yeah, I could handle the situations in the moment and keep it all together in the moment. But then when I looked around and everybody was in the ambulance, or, the troubled, it was all quiet on the Western Front. Suddenly they got to call an ambulance for me. I just feel like it's really important for us to stop denying that our pasts affect us. And everybody is starting to have these common denominator issues. If everyone's realizing that they're neurodivergent now, then maybe it's actually that our grandpas that like to train sets were also neurodivergent. If we realize that there's a lot of stuff we've been missing for a long time, and it's stuff that society really doesn't want to have to deal with. And we just sit there and point fingers. What's going to happen? So if we can actually be real and say, maybe people who don't talk to their kids or people who don't talk to their parents, maybe there's something more going on. Maybe it's a really messed up misunderstanding. Maybe it's not something that I should automatically assume someone is even bad. Things are just so messed up nowadays, but they're also getting more beautiful the more ugly they get. And we've got to find a way to grab and reach for the beautiful stuff. And I think a beautiful thing would be for more people to find like a channel like Patrick Teehan. I think he does excellent work in this space. And it's not just the people like me who maybe need the healing. I think that if more of us want to see our society change for the better, we're going to have to start learning about all the things that are really bringing us down. And I think that the family and the fact that since 2020 and all the events of 2020 and all the heightened sensitivities towards identities and all these things that have come up, we didn't really have a safe landing for any of that stuff. And now there's people like me who feel really lonely and afraid. And it's like my family traumatized me. And I because of that, the way that I behaved attracted users and, not the best people or, people who like tolerated me and, and so pretty much my entire life has just been this convoluted mess. And it's kind of been like a lie. Now I'm coming out of that and I'm looking around like, where is safe? And then guess what? All the people who maybe didn't have that same problem and maybe didn't have as many interpersonal issues. Well, now that we've all basically just decided you're bad, you don't agree with every exact thing I agree with. Oh my goodness, you're one of them. No, you're one of them, and all that we do now. Then I have to go out into the world of you guys and be like, what's happening? And all I'm saying is, choosy moms are some of the greats. I've met some choosy moms, grandmas, aunties, uncles, pops, dads. I've met some choosy cousins. I've met some people who they just have a lot of love in their heart. And I've also met some people who are loyal to others in their life, like specific people. And the love and loyalty that can be shown in those kinds of situations is really beautiful. But not everybody had that. And less people are even getting to experience it. Non-dramatic stuff isn't even cool to look at. So we're all being influenced by chaos all the time. Maybe we should sit down and have a talk. Maybe we should try to get to know how some of this stuff happens. Maybe we need to be able to have a helpful conversation with a random lady that we meet on the street whose kid isn't talking to her without just being like, hey, I don't talk to strangers anymore. Because have you guys noticed that it's like really weird now to talk to people? I still talk to people, and it's usually old people because old people will still talk to you. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, I think that there used to be a point in society where we knew, because the problems were probably fewer or seemingly fewer because social media didn't exist as much and wasn't as big. And so it's like, we kind of just saw like, it was like, oh, you having girl trouble, son? Yeah, mister. It's like, oh, honey, did you have a breakup? I did. And there were these moments where humanity would just kind of like converge and you can see it. And it might sound silly, like maybe that's not really happening, but I don't know. I think I've been a part of some stuff like that before. I just don't know if any of us are regulated enough to be normal people anymore. And maybe if that's what it is, then we should learn how to find common ground with people even when we're dysregulated. I think that I'm recognizing that I have been really dysregulated because I'm putting myself out there in these videos as a part of this series where I'm not allowed to do my hair or my makeup or anything, and I just have to do it. So I'm like kind of freaking out, to be honest. And I've noticed that as I'm freaking out and I'm triggered and I'm talking about some of this stuff and then I'm listening back to it, that even listening back is giving me something, even though I'm like kind of panicking. And sometimes I've been able to meet people where they are in that panic because I chose to, because I wanted to try to help them out. And maybe we shared in it together. But I just don't believe that a highly dysregulated society is still an impossible thing, because pretty much every time something horrific happens, especially like nature-related disasters, we're all screwed. We're fried. We're shot. We're not okay. But we get together and we figure it out. And I think that a lot of us are just so exhausted that we're not going to take the time to ask, who can I choose today? who might not have ever been loved or treated well or told that they matter. We don't do that kind of stuff anymore. We're too tired. And I think that if we can start by realizing that most of the people in this world have problems with their parents, like, and I know that it seems dramatic, I'm thinking that truly maybe less than 10% of the people I've ever known had just amazing parents. Amazing. And those people were usually very grounded. And most of the people I knew weren't like that. So it's like, I feel like if we can start there and just understanding, hey, where are you coming from? How's your relationship with your parents? Instead of judging somebody who doesn't have a great relationship, especially if we're trying to date them, like find out why. I don't know. I think that we've gotten really big on finding red flags in people, but not actually sitting back and saying, if that were me, how might I have gotten into that position? I don't know. I think that starting with the people you know who they never had love from when they were young, I think it could change perspectives, because the truth is, I think it's going to be most of the people that you know. If not, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did your mom choose you as a kid? Did your mom get you all the stuff that you wanted? Or, and if they couldn't, did they at least try to, like, I don't know, not make you feel like shit for desiring something that you saw on the TV? Because hey, that's what's raising you. I don't know. Did your dad choose you, or was it based on if he was proud of you or not at the time? Like, what was your life like? Do you feel that the way your parents raised you, not just like the cultural and no, but like the things that they instilled in you, did it make you a better person or a worse person? Even if you don't blame them, do you acknowledge that the flaws you have may have come from them? Or do you see life a different way? I'm really curious. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. This has been a little bit of a familial rant about the fact that I'm estranged from my family, because I know it's going to come up in the future. Like, you should, everybody does it already on my other YouTube channel, okay? Like, you should just talk to your parents. I hate to see people not talking. I'm sure that they could only work out. Your mom is your only mom. Don't start with me. I'm going to just send you this video. Okay? Okay, bye.